This is the Mosen Mortgage Program with Sarah Mosen. Mosen Mortgage is licensed in several states for residential and commercial purchases and refinancing. Call 800-662-9550. And now, here's your host, Sarah Mosen.
Happy Tuesday, folks. It's great to be back here again, and we were just laughing here, Marita and Pat Ryan. It was hilarious. So, I mean, it was just everything, food and competing. And I was just sharing, Pat, that Sarah Werner, who's my trainer and very dear friend, she's just like a sister to me, just a better looking version. She's competing with the IFBB. It's a huge show, and we sponsor her, for all of the shows, and she's going to be competing on the 5th, September 5th.
Wow.
Super exciting.
And IFBB is International Federation of Bodybuilding, and where is that competition happening?
It's happening in Pittsburgh, and it is a huge show. It goes from September 3rd to the 5th, and she's competing on the 5th. She is in the bikini class, and so she looks terrific. She's my trainer. She's been a competitor and a fitness model for years. So I'm really proud of her, and you've met her.
She's a wonderful gal. Yeah, she's as beautiful inside as outside.
She is. Truly.
Very humble, very down to earth, earnest, hardworking gal, and very, very likable. If they were going to get any points for likability, she'd be at the top there. But
she is, and it's just amazing because I've had her as my trainer for 4 years, and it's just been an amazing experience. I've learned so much from her. Just as I've always said, we all learn from each other. And she also contributed to The Gift Is You, the book that we all are a part of yourself as well, Pat. And, proceeds going towards St. Jude's, which you can purchase if anyone is interested. Different stories from fascinating people, close friends like yourself, Pat Ryan, and you can purchase it on Zulon Press, on Barnes & Nobles, as well as Amazon. So it's a good cause. I mean, the money's all going to a great charity, and I'm just happy about that. It's going to also be on on the trade show circuit, the book tours in Germany, and then next year we're going to be in Tennessee and also Ohio. So
it's a wonderful, wonderful book, Sarah. I've had a chance now. It's a fairly quick read. It's a lovely little hardcovered book with 9 different chapters written by 9 different people, including yours truly, which I'm still blown away, Sarah, that you offered me an opportunity.
Why?
Because
I'm like shocked that you accepted. You're probably like, now I'm obligated.
No. And my chapter just talked about, how intimate I became with sweet Jesus when I endured the loss of my husband very suddenly. And I think probably lots and lots of folks within the sound of our voices have had some really difficult times, and that is when we grow the strongest and become the closest with our Lord. And so that's what my chapter is about, but all of the chapters, I just thought they were wonderful, all different. They're very inspirational. God is throughout all of the entire book, and it's just such an honor, Sarah. And The Gift Is You is such an appropriate title, Sarah. Can you explain a little bit to our listeners why you named it The Gift Is You?
The title is The Gift Is You with an infinity sign because of the fact that everybody that is a part of your life is a gift. And I think that you're learning from every person, and people are your greatest teachers. You have been, and same with Pat Williams, who, is an NBA Hall of Famer. He's been very kind and generous with his time. And, David Kilgore, who joined me in Pittsburgh for a speaking engagement, he was the original person who hired me as a part of his team when he was the Secretary of State for Latin America and Africa. So I've learned a great deal from some amazing people, remarkable people, and I think that we all have to kind of pay attention and also have a sense of humor about who is a part of our life because they're just all great lessons. So.
Oh, they sure are. And Sarah, I love off mic when we were talking about how...
The cake?
Well, the cake, all right, I'll confess it publicly. I was here at the office late last night, which is not all that uncommon, and and I go into the kitchen, and there's some leftover birthday cake. And I happen to know the birthday cake was about 10 days old.
Perfect.
But it had all this gooey frosting, and I'm like, I wonder if that... I tasted the frosting, and it was really good, and I ate all the rest of the cake. And I'm thinking, okay, there's nobody here except for my wonderful on-air guy, Len. It was nighttime, and so those calories really don't count, right, folks? If nobody sees you eating up that, it was delicious cake, and I'm confessing it, and then, it tasted so good going down, and then afterwards it's like, oh, I probably shouldn't have done that. But I did it anyhow, and and Sarah, can't we just metaphorically bring that right back to the financial world?
The cake?
Yeah? Well, don't we sometimes, I really shouldn't buy this incredible pair of shoes or this great dress or go on this trip or go out to dinner, but I just really want to. I've been working hard and I want it and we can really get ourselves into a whole different place with our finances, Sarah, at a time like this with interest rate being so incredibly low. We can get ourselves into a place where we have more disposable cash, can't we?
We can, and I think that that's one of the things we have to really embrace in our life, that although we may have been turned down or we are not getting the answers that we need, that you can actually reach out to us and chat with us and see what the options are, because there are so many options with our portfolio products here at Mosen Mortgage. And I have to say that there are places where you may see a lot more issues, or great places to retire, great places to live in a kind of a stress-free environment. However, what's interesting is, when I'm reading articles, one of the articles said, what are the best cities to retire in? And they're all reflective of really where your income is, where your credit scores are. And I think every city is a great place to retire in if you're not struggling financially. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And so if you're struggling, let's say in Boston, or if you're struggling in Pittsburgh, really the bottom line is it's not the city. It's about your financial situation, which is not able to give you the options that you want or need. And I believe in hope, and I really truly am a product of hope, because every single time I've tried something different and I've had the no factor, or I have not been successful in certain parts of my life, but you learn from it. So what I've said is that if you have questions about why you're getting that no, or if you're sort of like, well, I may have a better lifestyle in Florida, or perhaps in California or another state because it's cheaper. For folks who are retiring, it doesn't really matter where you stay, because of the fact that you do have a mortgage-free option. You can live in that home without a mortgage, and you can revert back to a mortgage option. You don't lose the home. It's a government-sponsored program, and you can will that property. And the reason we look at this loan and approve it so highly is it's risk-free, because the equity level that needs to be free and clear is approximately 50%. So if it's a $200,000 home, we're looking at a $100,000 mortgage and a $100,000 free and clear, equity base. And then you proceed with your own questions towards the government-sponsored agency after you chat with us, get a certificate of understanding, and then proceed with that loan option where you don't have to pay a mortgage. You can sell that property later on, and as the values increase, you'll get that remaining amount when those equity amounts increase. So is it a great loan? Yes, it is. If you have questions, it's a great way to ask the question and share, anything that you have on this type of loan with me privately, weekends or evenings or weekdays, whenever I'm available,
And so, folks, just again, can't emphasize it enough. Call Sarah and ask the questions that you have on your mind about anything to do with mortgages at all, anything to do with finances. This new program that Sarah just spoke of is just astronomical. I know Sarah and I have spoken about a dear friend of mine who's been a widow for many years, was able to get her kids through school, was able to pay her mortgage off, but found herself like, okay, but what about now? I really just don't have enough in my retirement fund, to retire in the way I want. And then she found out about this program, and she was just elated that she could take money out of her house, never have to pay it back, but still maintain ownership of the house and be able to will that to her kids, when the day comes that she goes home to the good Lord. So Marita is saying it's time for us to wind down, but let me just remind you folks that within our listening audience that you can go on to wezeradio.com and choose on the resources and find some wonderful testimonies from Sarah and the fine folks at Mosen Mortgage with more sage advice. And this line is a free phone call answered live 24/7. Call the fine folks at Mosen Mortgage with any question you have. 1-800-662-9550.
Stay well, folks.
This has been the Mosen Mortgage Program with Sarah Mosen. Mosen Mortgage is licensed in several states for residential and commercial purchases and refinancing. Call 800-662-9550.